Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. WTA race update. Aryna Sabalenka solidifies year-end #1 chances, while Coco Gauff and top Americans chase final spot. The 2025 WTA season may have wrapped up its Grand Slam slate, but the race to the WTA finals in Riyadh is far from over. With just a handful of tournaments remaining, the year-end rankings and qualifications are taking shape, and the margins between contenders are razor-thin. Aryna Sabalenka, fresh off her U.S. Open triumph, currently sits atop the race to Riyadh leaderboard with 9,610 points, firmly positioning herself as the frontrunner for the year-end #1 spot. Sabalenka's victory in New York was more than a personal milestone. It cemented her dominance over the season after being so close yet so far from winning a slam this year. The Belarusian, 27, has been remarkably consistent across all surfaces and majors, and her lead over second-placed Iga Swiatek, who holds 7,533 points, gives her a healthy buffer. While the Pole has proven resilient, winning Wimbledon and remaining a major contender, Sabalenka's momentum and points advantage make her the player to beat in the WTA race as the tour moves into its Asian swing. Behind the top two, a cluster of American players is vying to secure their spots at the season-ending finals. Coco Gauff, 21, sits third in the standings with 5,184 points, followed closely by Amanda Anisimova at 4,908 points, Madison Keys at 4,450, and Jessica Pegula at 4,209. These players are all within striking distance of the WTA Finals qualification cut, currently set at 5,605 points, meaning that performances in the upcoming tournaments could dramatically alter the lineup. For Gauff, the focus will be on stabilizing her serve and regaining the confidence that carried her to last year's finals title in Riyadh. Anisimova, meanwhile, has demonstrated flashes of brilliance, but will need to maintain consistency to cement her place among the season's elite to make her first ever WTA finals. Andreeva and Rybakina hold the bottom end of the top 8. The chase for the remaining spots also highlights emerging talent and comeback stories. Mira Andreeva, 18, currently sits 7th with 4,189 points. After a sensational run through mid-season, including back-to-back WTA 1000 victories in Dubai and Indian Wells, where she defeated both Swiatek and Sabalenka, Andreeva has slowed her momentum following an ankle injury suffered in Montreal. The Russian teenager has played only 5 matches since Wimbledon, going 3-2, but her talent and prior form suggest she could re-enter the top 8 with a strong showing in the Asian swing. Elena Rybakina, 26, rounds out the current top 8 with 3,751 points, holding on to the last guaranteed final spot. Despite the Kazakhstan star having had a steady season, she faces pressure from Jasmine Paolini, 3,526 points, and Ekaterina Alexandrova, 2,871 points, both of whom are within striking distance should Rybakina falter. With WTA 1000 events in Beijing and Wuhan, along with WTA 500 tournaments in Guadalajara, Seoul, Ningbo, and Tokyo, the remaining schedule is packed with opportunities for both veterans and rising stars to make their mark. Others to keep an eye on. The race is not only about established names. Naomi Osaka, 27, currently sits 14th with 2,244 points, but has shown encouraging signs of resurgence. The 4-time Grand Slam champion has won 11 of her last 13 matches and reached the Montreal final, demonstrating both form and joy on court. While her points total is currently outside the top 8, a strong Asian swing could put her in contention for a finals reappearance, her first one since 2019. Alina Svitolina, 2,606, and Clara Tauson, 2,553, are further back but still capable of moving into contention with exceptional performances in the remaining events. Veteran players who have struggled with injuries or form will also play a key role. Karolina Muchova, 1,643 points, and Barbara Krejcikova, 816 points, can upset higher-ranked opponents, which could affect the points distribution and the eventual qualifiers. Similarly, Diana Schneider, 1,921 points, has the talent to win key matches in the Asian swing, while Belinda Bencic, 2,229 points, could chip away at the standings with deep runs in WTA 500 or 1,000 events. Other young talents, such as Alexandra Ila, 750 points, and Victoria Mboko, 1,440 points, will also look to translate their recent momentum into meaningful points, potentially shaking up the lower end of the finals qualification picture if they are to upset anyone. As the tour heads to Beijing, Wuhan, and other stops in Asia, the storylines are clear. Sabalenka is focused on solidifying her year-end #1 status, but the real drama lies in the battle for the remaining WTA final spots. With the Asian swing and remaining hardcourt events offering plenty of points and high-stakes matchups, the run to Riyadh promises drama, momentum swings, and a thrilling showcase of who can rise when it matters most. One thing is certain, nothing is decided yet, and every match counts. Coco Gauff's ex-coach hits 38-year-old Novak Djokovic with brutal reality check. The tennis world rarely runs short of storylines, but some strike like lightning. An old champion facing the edge of his career, and a new voice in the sport daring to tell him the truth. This time, that voice belongs to Coco Gauff's ex-coach, who has turned heads by delivering a reality check to the man many consider the greatest of all time, Novak Djokovic. At 38 years old, Djokovic still clings to relevance with an iron grip, but the words from a coach once tied to America's brightest young star have rippled through locker rooms and press conferences alike. Even the greatest cannot outrun time. It was not said lightly, nor without respect, but it landed like a thunderclap in the season of 2025, where Djokovic continues his fight against both opponents and the inevitable. Djokovic, the ageless champion, or the fading king. Novak Djokovic has long been the standard-bearer for excellence. His 24 Grand Slam titles, countless Masters 1,000 crowns, and seemingly unshakable mental fortitude have redefined what greatness looks like. Even in his mid-30s, he was not just competing. He was winning, toppling players nearly half his age. But tennis, unlike fine wine, rarely grows sweeter with years. Reflexes dull. Recovery slows. The calendar grinds harder with each season. Djokovic has adapted before, shortening points, mastering his serve, relying more heavily on precision than endless sprints. Yet in 2025, the cracks have begun to show more clearly. The younger generation, Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, Holger Rune, and even the resurgent Americans like Ben Shelton, no longer step onto the court in awe of Djokovic. They step onto the court believing they should win. And belief is a dangerous weapon. Enter Gauff's former coach. Coco Gauff's ex-coach, a figure respected for shaping Gauff during her formative teenage years, has always been blunt. He is known for honesty, sometimes to the discomfort of his players. His philosophy: sugarcoating kills ambition. Athletes need truth, not flattery. So when asked about Djokovic's prospects heading deeper into 2025, the coach didn't flinch. Novak is the greatest competitor I've ever seen. But he is 38. His body isn't the same. The recovery isn't the same. And the field is deeper than ever. He has to understand that what worked at 28 won't work now. He can still win matches, maybe even titles, but the era of domination is over. That's the brutal truth. Brutal indeed. And it shook a sport that reveres Djokovic as almost untouchable. Why the words matter? Coaches know the private grind players endure. They see the pain behind closed doors, the ice baths at 2 a.m., the stiffness that lingers into practice, the frustration when the body won't obey the mind. That's why these words carry weight. They're not from a pundit chasing headlines, but from someone who has lived courtside battles and watched champions struggle. For Gauff's ex-coach, the point is not disrespect. It is perspective. Father Time is undefeated, may be a cliché, but in tennis, it is absolute law. Federer learned it. Serena learned it. Nadal learned it. Now, Djokovic is staring into the same mirror. Djokovic's season, signs of the strain. Looking at Djokovic's 2025 season, the evidence is mixed. Australian Open. He fought through early rounds but fell in the semifinals to Alcaraz in a 4-set battle that left him visibly drained. French Open. He reached the quarterfinals before running out of steam against Sinner's relentless baseline assault. Wimbledon. The grass that once defined his dominance betrayed him, as a younger opponent served him off the court in week 2. U.S. Open. He clawed into the second week, but could not match the firepower of Shelton in a night match that electrified the American crowd. For any other 38-year-old, these results would be heroic. For Djokovic, they feel like slippage. And that is the harshest reality. Greatness has distorted expectations. What would be glory for most is framed as decline for him. The mental edge, still sharp but enough. One of Djokovic's greatest weapons has always been his mind. He thrives under pressure, feeds on adversity, and bends matches to his will. That edge remains. His stare across the net still unsettles opponents. His ability to summon clutch shots in tiebreaks is still unmatched. But even the sharpest mind cannot carry a body forever. In tennis, confidence is not only belief in your game, but belief that your body will deliver when called upon. Djokovic's exhalations, his longer pauses between points, the way he stretches out his legs after grueling rallies, these are not just signs of fatigue. They're signals to opponents. The aura is not gone, but it is cracked. How Gauff's coach sees the parallel. Interestingly, the coach drew a parallel between Djokovic's battle and Gauff's own journey. Coco is still young, still learning, still building her body to withstand 15 more years of this grind. Novak is at the other end, trying to squeeze out the last drops of greatness from a body that's given him everything. It's the same road, just in opposite directions. And that's why I respect him so much. But it doesn't change reality. In those words lies admiration as much as warning. The coach understands that Djokovic's fight is not just against opponents, but against time itself. The fans, clinging to the legend. Tennis fans live in nostalgia as much as the present. They want to believe in forever champions. Federer's every comeback attempt was treated like a pilgrimage. Serena's farewell was a global event. Nadal's body-breaking efforts on clay inspire standing ovations win or lose. With Djokovic, the narrative is the same. A refusal to let go. Each match he plays still draws massive crowds, still sparks debate, still commands reverence. His fans argue he can go on forever, citing his fitness routines, vegan diet, and iron will. But fans see moments. Coaches see patterns. And patterns tell the truth, more than single moments of brilliance. Djokovic's options, reinvention or acceptance. So what now? Can Djokovic defy the brutal reality check, or must he adapt in new ways? Selective scheduling. He may have to cut his calendar even more, focusing only on slams and skipping events he once dominated. Less tennis, but higher stakes. Style evolution. Like Federer did in his 30s, Djokovic could double down on shortening points, attacking earlier, and leaning on his serve and volley more. Mentorship role. Even as a competitor, Djokovic could embrace guiding younger Serbians, cementing his influence beyond just his own results. Whatever path he chooses, the message is clear. He cannot play the same game at 38 that he did at 28. The locker room shift. Behind closed doors, younger players whisper about Djokovic differently now. Once, beating him was almost impossible to imagine. Now, they circle matches against him with belief. If you can push him long enough, he'll crack. One rising star reportedly said after Wimbledon, that mindset is new and dangerous for Djokovic. This is exactly the brutal reality Gauff's ex-coach pointed to. The fear factor is fading. Once opponents see not a myth but a man, the balance shifts. Respect remains,